What is up, guys? Welcome to the Transparency. It's a Tuesday night. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for the mods for modding, members, subscribers. A case I wanted to talk about. Not too many people are talking about it. If you guys are following March Madness, you guys have heard probably some commentary about it. One of the best NCAA players right now out of Alabama. He will be an NBA lottery pick. Brandon Miller, again, one of the best in the country, plays for Alabama, 20-year-old freshman, involved in some controversy surrounding a murder. Want to introduce you guys to the case. Want to hear your guys' thoughts. I'll give you guys my thoughts at the end. But mic dropping. Unfortunately, tonight's not a call-in night, but tomorrow is a call-in show. So all of you guys that want to call in about the Idaho 4 case, I got that for you tomorrow night. But let's check it out.
The University of Alabama's Crimson Tide on Friday afternoon in the Sweet 16 of the NCAA men's basketball tournament.
As CBS 8's David Gottfredson reports, Alabama's top-ranked freshman, Brandon Miller, is involved in a high-profile murder case that resulted in a fellow teammate being charged.
Don't be surprised if you hear boos or chants of "lock him up" from the crowd during Friday's Sweet 16 game between the Aztecs and Crimson Tide. The negativity is aimed at Alabama freshman number 24, Brandon Miller, for his alleged involvement in a deadly shooting 2 months ago. Police say the gun used in the murder was brought to the crime scene by Miller inside his car. Miller has not been charged. Earlier this month, he spoke publicly about the incident for the first time.
I never lose sight of the fact a family has lost one of their loved ones that night. This whole situation is just really heartbreaking.
The shooting happened January 15th near the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa, in a party zone known as the Strip. 2 suspects are now in jail on murder charges. The alleged gunman, Michael Davis, who is not affiliated with the university, and a former Alabama player, Darius Miles, accused of providing the gun to the shooter. Alabama head coach Nate Oates said the decision to play Miller is based on the available facts.
The whole team understands how tragic and serious this situation that we're dealing with is. They're doing a great job just understanding that we're still focused on the task at hand while still understanding how tragic and serious the situation is.
The victim, 23-year-old Jamea Harris, was shot inside a Jeep during an exchange of gunfire between Davis and the victim's boyfriend in the driver's seat. Her mother spoke to reporters outside court.
This was premeditated. They thought this whole thing out. They don't deserve a plea deal. They deserve to go to jail for the rest of their lives. My daughter's not here anymore.
Miller's attorney says his client never even handled the gun. It was allegedly retrieved by Miller's former teammate from the back of the car and then later allegedly handed off to the gunman. David Gottfredson, CBS 8.
All right, again, there is a lot of controversy around it.
I guess
want to show you guys a couple different things.
This was practice day and press conference day, though, at Legacy Arena. ABC 3340 Sports Director Jeff Spiegel joining us now from the basketball mecca in Birmingham. Jeff?
Hey, Pam, it is an amazing week here to have the NCAA tournament back in Birmingham for the first time since 2008. And this will be a hangout, Legacy Arena will be, for basketball fans. And we'll see a lot of Alabama and Auburn fans here this week. The headliner, of course, is number 1 overall seed, the Alabama Crimson Tide, SEC regular season champs, SEC tourney champs. They play Texas A&M Corpus Christi tomorrow at 1:45, and the Tide relishes the fact they're playing so close to home.
We have the home court advantage here. I feel like the Alabama crowd has been great the whole season, especially in Nashville. They really came to put on a show there. I feel like
We're following a developing story in college basketball, as Alabama star Brandon Miller will play for the second-ranked Crimson Tide tonight against South Carolina at 9 Eastern. Yesterday, Miller's name was mentioned in police testimony for allegedly bringing a gun to former teammate Darius Miles. That gun was later used in the murder of a 23-year-old woman last month. Now, Miles has been charged with capital murder along with his friend Michael Davis. Miller, who's a projected NBA lottery pick, has not been charged with a crime. Coley Harvey has more in tonight's SportsCenter report.
What did members of Alabama's administration and men's basketball coaching staff know? And when exactly did they know it? Those are the key questions being asked tonight as the Crimson Tide get ready to play a game. One day after police testified in court that more than one player was present when 23-year-old Jamia Harris was shot and killed in a car just off campus last month. Her mother Tuesday.
I am very angry. I've been angry since January the 15th. I haven't stopped being angry. I haven't stopped long enough to grieve because I'm so angry. I do feel like it was that my child was ambushed. This was premeditated. They thought this whole thing out.
Heard spoke just after a judge in Tuscaloosa denied bond for Michael Davis and Darius Miles, a 21-year-old who had been a backup at Bama before being immediately dismissed from the team after an arrest for his alleged role in the shooting. Only Miles and Davis, who never was a member of the Crimson Tide, have been charged with capital murder. But during Tuesday's hearing, an officer testified that text messages show star Tide freshman Brandon Miller was asked by Miles to drive a gun to the area where the shooting later happened. The officer also testified that the cars of Miller and another teammate, Jaden Bradley, allegedly blocked the roadway that night, pinning in the Jeep that Harris, her cousin, and boyfriend were sitting in, making it difficult for their car to escape when shots rang out. In a statement today, however, Miller's attorney denied that Miller's car blocked the Jeep.
We knew about that. I mean, can't control everything anybody does outside of practice. Nobody knew that was going to happen. College kids are out. Brandon hasn't been in any type of trouble, nor has he in any type of trouble in this case, like in the wrong spot at the wrong time.
Hours after those comments from Oates' Tuesday news conference, he clarified in a statement saying law enforcement told his staff that other student athletes were present when the shooting happened, but that they were not suspects. They were only witnesses. Tuscaloosa Chief Deputy DA Paula Whitley said there's nothing the law will permit her to charge Miller with at this time. Both he and Bradley have remained on the team since January 15th. And in that time, Alabama has rolled to its current number 2 ranking and has a 23-4 record. Miller has been a driving force to that success, scoring an average 17.5 points in the game since the shooting.
Coley Harvey reporting, and he joins us now live from Columbia, South Carolina, ahead of Alabama's game tonight. Earlier today, Alabama's AD Greg Burns spoke about this situation.
Look at that. Top 3 right now. Let's see. ABC did a good piece.
You never hear anything like this at a college basketball game. The shocking chant, "Lock him up." And this, chants of "Guilty." The targets of the verbal assault is the star basketball player Brandon Miller, number 24 of the University of Alabama.
And the number 1 freshman in America, that is Brandon Miller.
Miller now finds himself at the center of a firestorm for his alleged role in the fatal shooting of a young mom. When he's passed the ball, you can have 41 points.
Miller takes it strong and drops the hammer.
He even made the game-winning basket with 0.9 seconds left in overtime.
Miller with the left hand.
But the shadow that hangs over Miller is all everyone's talking about. 2 of his former teammates have been charged in the murder of 23-year-old Jamia Harris outside a nightclub in January. She was the mother of a 5-year-old son. A Ring camera caught the sound of gunshots that night. In a hearing on Tuesday, it was established that one of the suspects left the murder weapon in Miller's car and text messaged Miller to bring it to him. Miller is fully cooperating with authorities and no charges have been filed against him.
He made a really poor decision, and that decision at least contributed in some way to the death of a young woman. If he were a lesser player, I don't think he would be playing right now.
In a statement, Miller, who is expected to go pro at the end of the season, said he never touched the gun and did not know any illegal activity would happen with the firearm.
Again, I'm just playing some of this so you guys can like see what's up and see what people are saying. It's very, very
Things are
intense.
continuing to get worse for Alabama's star basketball player, Brandon Miller. And a big controversy is brewing right now in the NCAA. After Brandon Miller was not punished by Alabama or the NCAA, despite being involved in an investigation into a murder. If you recall, about a month ago, we saw an Alabama player, Darius Miles, be arrested for murder after killing a young woman. And now Brandon Miller's involved in that investigation because it turns out Brandon Miller is the one who brought these people the murder weapon. He brought it in a car. His lawyers are saying, I never handled the gun. He didn't know it was going to go on. He never knew it was going to happen. But there are some text messages out there that seem pretty incriminating. However, the police have admitted that they don't have enough to charge Brandon Miller on. They've said we don't have enough to charge him on, but we do know that this is how he was involved. Despite all this, despite the ongoing trial and litigation, Brandon Miller was allowed to play. He was not punished by the NCAA or by Alabama. A lot of people have a problem with that. And to his credit, he went out there that first night against South Carolina 2 nights ago, and he dominated 41 points, the most he's had this season, the most we've seen this season for a freshman in NCAA basketball. But that has not stopped people from speaking out about this, including the crowd in South Carolina when he played, and including by the parents of the young woman, the young mother who was murdered. Parents of Tuscaloosa mother murdered by Alabama basketball player. It's unimaginable they let Brandon Miller play. Wednesday night's game wasn't just a display of top prospect Brandon Miller's play. It was a bitter reminder for the family of slain 23-year-old Jamie.
Controversy swirling around Alabama's freshman basketball sensation, Brandon Miller. He's accused of delivering a gun to a former teammate who is now under arrest for murder. Miller has not been charged, and today he was greeted with cheers from the home crowd. Here's ABC's Ellen Lopez.
Miller sneaks down court.
Tonight, Alabama basketball star Brandon Miller hitting the court against Arkansas amid questions about a fatal shooting. The freshman and top NBA draft pick prospect at the center of the controversy applauded today, but booed earlier this week as calls to take him off the court grow.
There are many who think, hey, Brandon has done nothing wrong here. But then there are those others who say, hey, it doesn't matter if he was firing a weapon or not. He should be punished.
According to ESPN, the 6'9" player was asked by then teammate Darius Miles to bring him his gun, which officials say was used in the killing of 23-year-old Jamia Harris. Miles was removed from the team and arrested along with another man, both now facing capital murder charges. Both of their attorneys have either not responded to our request for comments or have declined to do so. Miller has not been charged with any crime. The Crimson Tide stating in part that it, quote, continues to cooperate fully with law enforcement in the ongoing investigation and that Miller is not considered a suspect in this case, only a cooperative witness.
We feel like we've done the right thing in this case. We're using this as an opportunity to educate our players on stuff that hopefully will help them for the rest of their lives.
And what the victim's mother tells us, she wants everyone involved to be held accountable. Miller's attorney says that the player never touched the gun or even saw it. Wet.
Elvin Lopez for us tonight. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage,
The part of this that rubs me the wrong way the most is they're trying to paint Brandon Miller as this bad guy, and he's really not. The media out here wants you to believe that Brandon Miller is this terrible guy that's mocking the system. I tried telling you guys a couple of days ago it wasn't going to be the last time we talked about the Brandon Miller situation because more stuff is going to come up. Why are we making another video? For multiple reasons, but the main one being that people are lying about Brandon Miller. And I'm going to tell you guys up front, nothing pisses me off more than seeing people run with a false narrative. And the saddest part about this situation is 98% of people don't even know the actual truth. But that's why I'm here. And on YouTube, I've come to find out that most people are not like me. You can say what you want about me. I don't care. Am I a little crazy? Do I have unreal takes? Am I this? Am I that? Yes, yes, yes. But I always, and you guys know this, I always provide facts and evidence with everything I say. And that right there is the difference. I don't just speak on stuff without knowing what I'm talking about. I always have evidence. And today I'm going to provide even more evidence on this Brandon Miller situation. We're going to talk all about that. And also we have another minor topic involving some women. Yes, female basketball players.
Oh, shit.
I don't talk about female college basketball players a lot, really at all, because number one, nobody cares. And well, that's really the only reason nobody cares. Let's just call it what it is. If somebody offered me courtside tickets to a women's college basketball game, or I could take $1, I'm taking the $1. The two young ladies we're going to speak on in today's video, they have a ongoing controversy, and yeah, it's interesting. As most of you know by now, I'm still recovering from wisdom teeth surgery and the complications that happen after. So what happened in the first place is because when they were recruiting these two young girls that go by the name of the Cavender twins, they were twins that got in a recruitment package, they went to dinner with a booster. Why is this a big deal? Because they went to dinner with a booster before they officially joined the program, and that is a big no-no. You can't do that. That's all there is to it. There's nothing complicated about that. They broke a rule. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on. I know what you're sitting there saying. Yo, Matt, why are you bringing this up? Who cares? I'm not bringing this up because they violated rules. I'm bringing it up because of what one of the twins had to say after it. I'm going to remind you, this female basketball player, she broke a rule. She understands it, and she said on Twitter, "Dear NCAA, are you scared that female athletes have value? Let's hoop, though." Oh, man, I can't scream because, number one, I literally can't scream. I need to calm down, but I hope you can understand this when I say it, and I mean this 100%. Nothing in this life enrages me more than an entitled and spoiled female.
Oh my God. Who is this dude?
And a 45. And this is the part that enrages me. This girl, she thinks she's in the right. She thinks in her head the NCAA is hating on her and gave her this violation because she's a female. It has nothing whatsoever to do with you're a female. It has everything to do with, yet again, you broke the rules. Just because you're pretty, and we can all admit it, these are two pretty young ladies, it doesn't mean you can get away with everything.
Jesus. Speaking of which, I want to show you guys. We were looking up stuff for the NCAA tournament, and we were looking at people that were getting in fights. So I do want to show you guys one of like my favorite women's altercation where it's 8 people got ejected from the game. And none other than at Texas Christian University, where they are just so Christian-like over there. But I'll show that really quick. TCU versus Richard Washington women's fight. There she is.
I won't know. Craven's offensive rebound and gets whacked in the head. And then now we got punches thrown. Oh my goodness. That is not a pretty sight. Bella Cravens took offense to the foul. She looked like she got it right across the face.
It looks like she lost the ball because she got her hair pulled.
Yeah. And Essence Brown was the one that got into it with Cravens. Here it is again. And then Cravens pushes her and then goes to talk to her, and then they both get into it. Well, let's take a look at exactly to see
The
what happened.
cheerleaders got just look at them. Watch the
Just to give
cheerleaders.
you an example of how it happened right there. You can see the hair was pulled by Essence Brown on Bella Cravens. Cravens took exception to it, bumped her, and then it all broke loose. And then everybody was objecting. You can see the punches being thrown, and I'm sure there's going to be more disciplinary reasons. Rochelle McCollum was trying to play peacemaker there, but jumping right in the middle of the pile was Lucy eBay, and that's one of the reasons that she was ejected from the ball game.
Thanks for watching ESPN.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Picks it up. Taiwo, no. Craven's offensive rebound and gets whacked in the head.
It's about
And
to be
then
a-
now we got punches thrown. Oh my
She didn't
goodness.
stop. Watch this.
That Lucy eBay.
Look at she
is
thinks
gonna
she's
be
still
thrown
playing.
out.
Check this out.
And they're still jawing with the officials. And I can see that Bella Cravens is visibly upset, and they're going to go apologize. Class act. Class act by TCU.
You know, just trying to make a better situation of what's going on right now. You can see Coach Mahomes is upset as well.
That's what separates Reagan Peebley from a lot of coaches.
8 girls just got ejected. 8 girls just got ejected from that game. Anyways, so there you go. Was looking at Brandon Miller. Yeah, so what do you guys think? Miles, yeah, Darius Miles. There we go.
And new on the 4, a surprise in a Tuscaloosa courtroom today in that case against a former Alabama basketball player, Darius Miles, who's been charged with capital murder.
So we've learned Alabama star basketball player Brandon Miller is somehow connected to this case. Miller has not been charged with a crime. Miles and co-defendant Michael Davis both appearing in a court for a preliminary hearing today. And that's where those new revelations came out. Brian Henry joining us from Tuscaloosa County Jail, where that hearing was held this morning. So Brian, explain how Miller is now connected to the case.
Well, Sarah Morgan, for the first time today, we learned that this murder investigation involved current UA basketball player Brandon Miller, although, and we want to be very clear about this, although Miller does not face any criminal charges. Investigators testified Miller brought a gun that belonged to Darius Miles to the crime scene.
So the gun didn't belong to him.
Cameras were not allowed inside, but the preliminary hearing lasted almost 3 hours with 5.
So I think that's really important to hear there. And this is something that they just keep, like, they're not talking about. Right there, listen to it one more time.
Cameras were not allowed inside. Investigators testified Miller brought a gun that belonged to Darius Miles to the crime scene.
Okay, so anybody out there that's saying, hey, Lana, was it, Brandon Miller's gun? No, it was not. I wanted you guys to hear that from the reporters first, though. I wanted to find that clip, found it. So it was not Brandon Miller's gun. He is a cooperating witness. But they basically are saying he shouldn't be playing. My take on it is, unless you're going to arrest him, just like anything else in life, the NCAA, he didn't break any team rules. I looked into the Alabama team rules. So are they allowed to go out? What time was their curfew? Things like that. He didn't break any team rules. You'd have to ask Alabama if they're allowed to own guns. Again, it wasn't his gun. So, but if he's not arrested, if he's just a cooperating witness, why should his life be, altered, especially when you don't know if all the facts aren't out there. I would think the police would be, being on it. And again, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, if they're trying to hush any involvement by Brandon Miller. But if the police, again, want to do that for this man, I don't think that's right, but that I haven't seen that. So as far as I'm concerned, is unless the police want to come forward and say, we have XYZ, and yeah, he should be, we're going to charge him with something. But the rules are very clear with the NCAA. If he hasn't been, if there's an ongoing investigation, they cooperate with the investigation. It's on the school. The school has the final say on what you want to do if there is no police involvement in terms of they didn't charge him with something. Also, just because you're charged with something, you're obviously innocent until proven guilty with certain things. They immediately kicked off. Well, one of the members wasn't even on the team. They immediately kicked off Darius Miles. He averaged like 1.5 points per game. He was not a star player by any means. But yeah.
Cameras were not allowed inside, but the preliminary hearing lasted almost 3 hours with 5 witnesses. One major development, evidence produced in court and put on a TV.
So here we have a preliminary hearing. This preliminary hearing took 3 hours. Okay. The preliminary hearing that's expected for the Brian Kohlberger case in Idaho is expected for a week. Just kind of throwing that out there. They had 5 witnesses at this preliminary hearing. Okay. 3 hours, 5 witnesses. So everything will always correlate back to whatever I'm working on. Promise you that.
TV monitor showed former UA basketball player Darius Miles texted current player Brandon Miller to bring him his gun to Gray Street and University Boulevard, the very scene where the shooting happened in mid-January. Tuscaloosa police homicide investigator Brandon Culpepper testified that Darius Miles told Michael Len Davis that the heat is in the hat, signifying the gun was present. Court documents also indicated Miles provided the very same weapon to Michael Len Davis, who investigators say shot in the Jeep 23-year-old Jamia Harris was riding in. Culpepper added surveillance video from the nearby Publix showed Davis standing on the driver's side of the Jeep and firing several rounds. Harris died from a gunshot wound to the left side of the face, according to testimony presented at court.
They don't deserve to be out on the street.
Meantime, Jamia Harris's mom talked with reporters.
I'm with her mom here in terms of the people that were involved. They shouldn't be out on the street. I think that it should come forward as to how this ever started. Because you heard the gunshots. They were going back and forth. This was like a full-blown shootout. So I think if you go back and listen to that video that I played a couple minutes ago, you're hearing that gunfire. That's 2 different guns that are firing back and forth. There was when I say it was a shootout, 2 people were shooting at each other. And from my understanding, she got hit in the crossfire of what was, these 2 people going at it.
After the hearing,
My daughter was ambushed, is what happened. It was a premeditated attack on her. That's what I saw.
As for Brandon Miller, prosecutor Paula Whitley said afterwards there was nothing in the law they could charge him with. However, plenty of evidence, according to Whitley, against Darius Miles and Michael Len Davis.
Charged with capital murder because the victim was sitting in a vehicle when she was senselessly killed.
This is also something that people don't know about. The reason it's capital murder is in Alabama. If you're in a vehicle and you get killed, it's capital murder. So again, I'm going to pull out just a couple different backgrounds on both people that were arrested, as well as look into known associates. I'm just curious of how this could have transpired to the point of that, whatever happened to, why can't y'all throw fists, punch each other, beat each other up, last one standing wins the wins the fight. So whatever happened to those days, you know, taking it out to the playground and throwing some punches. And I think what happened to those days is just people are a bunch of PUSSYs. That's what I think. But, you know,
Now, in that same court hearing today, the judge has yet to rule whether this case will move forward. And again, no ruling yet whether she'll grant both men an opportunity to make bond. Now, one other thing, also a latest addition to the story, again, that happened this morning. Darius Miles' attorney, Mary Turner, declined an interview immediately after the hearing because she said that she first wanted to see what the rulings would be. In Tuscaloosa, Brian Henry, WBRC, Fox 6 News.
so the preliminary hearing was 3 weeks ago. And this is her coach.
Situation, just how comfortable were you with his proximity to that, and also if there's any NBA scouts who might be inquiring, what would you say to them about that?
Yeah, I mean, we've known the situation since span. We've been fully cooperating with law enforcement the entire time. I mean, it's the whole situation's sad. I mean, you just think of it, the team closed practice with a prayer for the situation.
I'm sorry to hear about that, Emmy. Prayers to you and your family.
Family and Kane, really think about her son Kane that was left behind. So it's sad. We knew about that. I mean, you know, can't control everything anybody does outside of practice. Nobody knew that was going to happen. College kids are out. Brandon hasn't been in any type of trouble, nor has he any type of trouble on this case. Like, you don't want to spot at the wrong time. So we'll address it when I'm sure NBA scouts will ask, they do their homework, but yeah, I think the article that it came out, it also stated Brandon's, and he's, you know, they're comfortable with everything that happened there.
So again, a lot of people are going to have, obviously people are going to have different opinions of things. I think that I'm curious to see who the 5 people that testified were, and you know, one of them is going to be a detective. Just curious who the witnesses are. Curious to see where they were before, how long they were there, because her parents are pretty adamant that this was like an ambush of her, where I was curious if she was caught in a crossfire of the 2 people that were having the shootout. So either way, it's making, you know, lots of waves through the NCAA talk. Alabama has now advanced to the Sweet 16. Like I said, every time that they take the floor, a lot of boos. Everybody is against them. So how did you watch that? The detective talk, there was no cameras in there. So the cameras weren't in there. So how did you watch that? I'm just curious, Rock Chalk. How did you watch the preliminary hearing? There was no cameras in there. But again, this is something that I just want to bring to everybody's attention, something I'm going to be looking into. I am going to be dropping my, it's like, I think 27 minutes. The first, I don't know, 9-10 minutes are video and audio mixed. And then the last 17 minutes is just me talking. So it has to do with, I was just asking about that because I was curious. I'd want to see that. Okay, you read it. Okay. Yeah, I'm pulling some of the files on this Alabama case. Again, the Jared Brannigan case. If you guys are following along, I've been posting some stuff about that. I believe another arrest is coming, and I believe that his ex-wife is going to be arrested. Curious what the delay is. If it does happen, I'm curious the delay. But what is up, D Evans? How are you? You know, the thing I feel about him taking the gun to him, I'd have to see those transactions in terms of like, you know, if somebody just shot me a text message and wrote something, that doesn't mean that I did just because somebody texted me something. So I'd have to see a little bit more than that. Then I could just write you something in a text, but that doesn't mean that you did what I wrote you to do. Also, guns are a form of self-defense. I don't know, you know, there has to be more than that. Just then, you know, you're in a vehicle where a gun is, and you texted. I mean, there's a lot of, we saw what it does with the Alec Murdaugh trial. Did he pick up his phone? Did he text him back right away? What all transpired from that? So it's just going to be, I think, as more comes out. But these detectives clearly have gone through the case, and why they wouldn't be charging him as an accessory if it's not there. Either maybe they feel some type of pressure, maybe they looked at it and they're like, he didn't know that this was about to happen. So he has to, in my opinion, you have to ask the officers why they're not charging him. But I don't think that the blame can go on, why are you playing somebody? Well, I'm playing somebody because he's not been arrested. He hasn't, like, what are they doing, you know? So the NCAA, they have their hands tied at a certain point, and then it goes on to the school. So that's how the NCAA works. I played 2 sports for the NCAA. They pretty much own you. And after them, then the school owns you. So yes, I get that he's a lottery pick. I get all these things. But at the end of the day, I believe in innocent until proven guilty across the board with everything. And it should be on these police officers why. You should ask them why they're not doing something about it. So I'm going to look into it. I want to see if I can find some stuff that maybe, you know, they said they have all this camera surveillance. I want to see where he was. I want to see where Brandon Miller was when this shootout happened. Things like that. But hey, what's up, Alice from Pittsburgh? Woo, woo, woo. So yeah, but I think that this needs to be really focused in on, again, we got to go back to the police. You know, everything comes back to the police. Like, why aren't the police doing something? If the police, in fact, think that this is what it is and that he's involved in some way, then you have to ask the police why they're not doing something. But to sit here and say that why is the coach playing him, or why is the university letting him play, or why is the NCAA letting him play? Well, it's because he's not charged with anything. But were you one of those girls fighting when you were playing? No, I don't need to fight. I don't need to throw some bows. DA says no charges to be made. Yeah, I don't see them charging him, but I want to look into it myself. Like I said, I like to look into things. But we'll see. We'll see. But as always, you guys are awesome. Take a look at it yourselves. Tell me what you think. Use the comment section. And when I upload this next video, those of you guys that are following, you know, heartbreaking case. I think all these cases, when it touches a family and you lose somebody like this in a tragic situation, like, none of this should be happening. Like, what the fuck, people? Come on. But I think entitlement starts at a young age. Whenever anybody would feel that they could do something like this or have it, you know, you hear things that are, it's anywhere from like mental illness to entitlement, parenting, you know. I think we got to do better as parents. We got to do better. We got to be better as friends. But again, thank you guys so much. Keep being kind to one another. And I'll definitely have a follow-up to this. And I will be seeing you guys tomorrow night. I will be having a 3-minute call-in show. So get fancy. Get your white teeth on. Makes you guys smile. But yeah. And then thank you to anybody that's come in, joined as a member. Thank you for the super chats. Oh, thank you there, Hollywood OG. Always other perspective, Anna. Always appreciate the comments as well. Parenting 101, peace, love, and grace. Like it. Don't leave us, Lana. Don't leave us. Don't leave us. Pisces do not, for sure. All my Pisces, where you guys at? We got any end of the month birthdays here coming up? But yeah, I'll be uploading this video. I had my computer crash on me earlier. Not sure why, but technology. All right, guys, be safe and talk to you soon.